What's up, YouTube? It's your boy KC, and I'm here to tell y'all about my professional basketball experience. I'm a 7-year professional. I'm living in Gießen, Germany right now, playing for the Gießen 46ers. It's my 5th year overseas. I played 2 years in the NBA G League and the NBA Summer League. And yeah, just kind of my introduction video to my YouTube channel. If you're here, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I've been posting some YouTube shorts of some of my basketball content that I post on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, obviously, and also Instagram. So thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for the views. I'm trying to build off of that momentum and start my YouTube channel, build my YouTube channel, actually posting real long form YouTube videos. So if you're here, if you're watching this video, first of all, I'm going to ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more content on the way. I've already been posting content consistently around the game of basketball. I got much more on the way. Also some French content on the way. Je parle un peu, pas un peu, plus qu'un peu, mais je parle français aussi. Donc, ouais, I just want to use this channel to post basketball content to help the younger generation have some advice and some a professional to look up to and feel connected to that can help you throughout your journey. It's something that I wanted becoming a pro, and even before I became a pro, just playing high school basketball, college basketball, navigating AAU, choosing the right school, even for high school, really, especially now because I think you can get NIL in high school in some states. So yeah, man, I want to help the younger generation and the next up and coming professionals, the next up and coming pro hoopers, especially overseas pro hoopers. Um, I want to help y'all have a mentor or someone to look up to that has already done what you're looking forward to do. And so, yeah, I want to start out by just giving an introduction of me and who I am, where I come from, and then also just my story, what's gotten me to where I am today, playing professional basketball in Germany as a 7-year pro, and what that experience has been like. So yeah, to start it off, my name is KC. That's what everybody calls me. I come from Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to the A. Born and raised. Spent my whole life there pretty much before I left for college. Grew up playing all kind of sports, man. Basketball, baseball, football, a little bit of soccer, ran track, all the good stuff, man. Uh, Baseball was my first sport, but I decided after middle school to simply focus on basketball. I played football, baseball, and basketball all the way up until middle school, and then I stopped everything and just focused on basketball. I felt like, I mean, at that time, honestly, it was just the game I liked the most. I loved the most. I definitely had dreams of playing in college, playing in the NBA, all of that. Um, but they weren't as real until later on. Um, and so yeah, I went to Hillgrove High School. For anybody from Atlanta, from the state of Georgia, it's in Powder Springs. Really, I really grew up in Marietta, which is more of a suburb of Atlanta. But obviously, when I'm outside of Georgia, I just say Atlanta because it's a suburb of Atlanta, and I still rep the city. So, shout out to the A. And yeah, when I was in high school, man, as a freshman, I made varsity. I went to a school that was a newer school, Hillgrove High School. Um, it was a newer high school in totality, but also the basketball program was off and running from the start by head coach Ed Morris, who also was my head coach. They had made it to the state tournament. They had made it to region tournament, region championships. Yeah, so they were really successful. Had guys go D1 pretty early on. For those who don't know, Hillgrove is pretty close to McEachern, so which is another high school in the area, and so some of that talent came to Hillgrove, and so from the jump, Hillgrove was already super talented, really in a lot of sports, not just basketball, but also basketball for sure, football, women's basketball. Yeah, I think we had all kind of baseball was super good when I was in high school. We had all kind of athletes for every sport, and so I made varsity as a freshman, which was a great accomplishment for me. Definitely was my goal. In all honesty, I didn't really play. Actually, I played, but it wasn't. I wasn't doing anything special. Honestly, I was just a freshman that was out there with older guys who were already established and talented players, and just trying to figure it out. Honestly, um, after that, my sophomore year, yeah. In all honesty, I contemplated leaving to go to a private school, Whitfield Academy, which pretty much was dominant when I was in high school. I don't know if they're still dominant these days, but won multiple state championships. I had some friends who were at Whitfield playing and had won a state championship. I think when we were freshmen, they were sending guys Division One. It was a good private school that wasn't too far from where I was living. Um, and yeah, that was the first time where I feel like I had to make an adult decision in my basketball career. And so I met with Coach Ed Morris with my parents. And I don't know why. I can't explain it to you, but honestly, I just made the decision to bet on myself, stay where I was, trust in Coach Morris and his vision. He didn't make any promises to me, but he said, if you stay here and work your tail off, I know good things will happen. I can't tell you what those things are, but I know you'll get something out of it. And more importantly, you'll grow as a student, as a man, as a young man at that time, and as a person. And I could say today, he didn't lie at all. I got so much out of my high school and even more. I ended up staying there, obviously, until my senior year. My sophomore year was really productive as a sophomore playing varsity. Honestly, I don't remember any of my high school stats, and probably until my junior or senior year, I know I was averaging more than 20. Um, and then my junior year, I started to get Division One scholarship offers. So I was playing AAU for the Georgia Stars, EYBL. I played a little bit for the Atlanta Celtics on the Adidas circuit, just very, very briefly, when the Stars didn't make the Peach Jam, which is like the final end of the season tournament for the EYBL. At least it was back then. And so yeah, man, I started getting recruited to play college basketball at a number of schools. Really, honestly, at the mid-major level, I had interest from Georgia and some of the SEC schools like Auburn. Um, Honestly, those are the only two SEC schools I remember getting letters from, Georgia and Auburn. But Georgia wasn't willing to pull the trigger on me. I was talking to them and in communication with them. I even took an unofficial visit there. And in all honesty, I was a young high schooler. My goal and my dream was for sure to play high major Division One basketball. But I just realized by the end of my junior year, heading into my senior year, which was my last year of AAU, that if I hadn't gotten the offer yet, I probably wasn't a priority, and it probably wouldn't come until they didn't get players that they wanted before me. And so, yeah, I was an amazing student. In all honesty, I took AP classes. I was in advanced and honors courses all throughout high school, and was doing super well in those also. I graduated from Hillgrove with college credits already. I took AP exams and did all of that great stuff. Education was always first in my house. I grew up with a mom who was an educator, and so there was no basketball without being successful in school. I remember having to miss a tournament because I brought home a C and started playing around a little bit in school, and she made very clear that we don't play that in my house. And so yeah, from that day on, I realized the importance of education and how no matter how good I was at basketball, I couldn't rely on basketball for my entire life. I knew that at some point the ball would stop bouncing and I would have to rely on my intelligence, my mind, and what I can accomplish without my physical body. Thankfully, I haven't reached the point to where I have to do that. I'm still playing this game and still blessed to be healthy enough to do so. And so, yeah, when it came down to making a college decision, education was honestly just as important as the game of basketball. And at that time, I really had all mid majors. Like, to be honest, I probably had at least 30 offers. Uh, I would say mostly across from the Midwest or like the middle of the country to the east. I'm from the state of Georgia, so I had a lot of southeastern schools, like Georgia State, Georgia Southern, all of those. That pretty much all those conferences. Kennesaw. Actually, I didn't have an offer from Kennesaw State, which was interesting because we had a lot of talent coming out that area at the time, and Kennesaw State wasn't really heavy on bringing in the local talent. Not to say I would have went there, but it would have been cool to just have an offer from the school that was 10 minutes away from where I grew up. And so by the time I made a decision, which I made my decision on the birthday of my biological father, which was October 23rd. He passed away when I was younger and 4 years old, and he put the ball in my hands. He was the reason I played the game of basketball. He's the one who, introduced me to the game and made me fall in love with it. And so, in inspiration of him and in a dedication to him, I chose to commit to whatever school I was going to go to on his birthday before my senior year, which my senior year was started in 2013, and I graduated from Hillgrove in the spring of 2014 in May. And so I decided to commit to Columbia University. Honestly, the only schools I could tell you it really, really, truly came down to was Georgia State, who was a powerhouse at the time in my home city, Atlanta. Uh, Coach Ron Hunter was there, and they had it rocking. I think they went to the tournament probably 2 or 3 times around that time. Wofford, Georgia State, Wofford, Winthrop, Columbia. Those were really my top four, like most serious, like who it really came down to, who I was about to make a decision to join their university and go play college basketball. And so I would say the top two were Columbia and Wofford University. Wofford University was coached by Coach Mike Young at the time, who's now the head coach at Virginia Tech. And man, did him and his staff do a crazy job pursuing me. They came at a certain point. They came down to Hillgrove probably 3 or 4 times in a matter of 2 months to show me how important I was to them and how bad they wanted me at their school. Another super hard decision, but one of the like big steps I took in becoming a man was having to call Coach Mike Young and tell him that I wasn't coming to his school. I was going to Columbia University. I vividly remember when I called him to tell him, he answered the phone because at this time everybody knew my decision would be on October 23rd. I let them know I would make my decision the day of my father's birthday. And I vividly remember him answering the phone and saying, "Give me the good news, Kyle Kessler." And my heart sunk, and I was just like super nervous as a little, at this time, 16-year-old kid, maybe 17-year-old high schooler, having to tell like this grown man who really wanted me to come play for his school that, I wasn't coming and I was going to a different school. And I luckily I made it through. I let him know that I was choosing to go to Columbia University. And the main reason for that is Division I basketball mixed with an Ivy League education. As a young black man, young black kid at the time, who experienced some of the stereotypical black experiences in the United States. And what I mean by that is I lost a father to gun violence at a young age. So I grew up in a single parent household for a little while before my mother remarried. I was a young black kid who experienced, I won't say racism, but I will say like mistreatment in the education system, despite being a smart kid and despite having test scores just as good as some of my counterparts at my school. And so, I didn't grow up like in the hood or in the ghetto or nothing like that. My mom worked her tail off by herself, and well, with my father at first, and then once my father passed, by herself for some years, and then with my stepfather after she remarried. And so, as a black kid from Atlanta who grew up in a single parent household for a little while, who experienced gun violence in his own family very close to home with his father passing away, it felt like such a achievement to commit to Columbia University, an Ivy League university in the city of New York, where basketball is huge. Uh, I never really grew up going to New York. We might have visited once as a kid, but I just remember going on my visit to New York and falling in love with the city. You got the restaurants everywhere. You got the train. The cars are packed. The taxis honking all the time. You can walk and just try all kinds of different foods, all kinds of shopping. Everything is possible in New York for any type of person. Whatever you're interested in, art museum, operas, hip hop, music, basketball, football, sports, the arts, whatever it is, it's at your fingertips in New York City. And so having that experience, man, I couldn't say no to Columbia University in New York City and Division I college basketball, so I committed to Columbia. Uh, in all honesty, my experience at Columbia basketball wise, at least individually, was not amazing. I never had an amazing year. I never had the year that I envisioned having going there, averaging 20 points and maybe getting drafted into the NBA draft and all of those big goals that a lot of kids set out for themselves. But with that being said, Columbia was an amazing experience. Education-wise, obviously, it's an Ivy League institution in the city of New York. The campus is beautiful. It's like its own closed-off, total different world in the heart of such a busy and chaotic city. Um, yeah, I've met some of my closest friends at Columbia who I'm still in contact with to this day. The game of basketball has brought me so many friends um, who I'm still in contact with today. And so, yeah, man, I learned and grew so much in college. I learned how to really work. I always worked hard my whole life. I always was a kid who just had hard work instilled in me from my family and my mother and my grandparents and my fathers. Um, but in college, I really learned how to work hard. I really learned how to condition. I failed multiple conditioning tests on that track. Boy, gives me nightmares thinking about it. I really learned how to hit the weight room. I really learned how to shoot 1,000 shots in a couple of days on the shooting machine. Just working on my shot, working on my game. And so even though I never had the amazing season that I wanted, I was always progressing. And so my freshman year honestly got off to a hot start. I was in the running for Rookie of the Year. Lost it to another kid. Sophomore year I was injured. Had a couple guys come back from injuries who were older than me, who were already 1,000-point scorers. And we had an amazing season that year. Won 20 games, won the CIT tournament, which is one of the alternative tournaments if you don't make the NCAA tournament. The Ivy League was a one-bid league at that time, so if you didn't win the regular season, you had no shot of going to the tournament. My junior year, I was injured, had foot surgery, and before I knew it, it was my senior year, and I was injured again half of my senior year with a broken elbow against Villanova. And then I came back and managed to average like 11 points a game as a senior, but I still had an extra year of eligibility from my injury. And so at this time, transferring was not like what it is now. There was no NIL. There was no transferring every year without penalty. And so the reason I could transfer and not have to sit out back then was because I had a medical red shirt and I actually had to transfer out of the Ivy League because you can't play Ivy League sports as a graduate student. And so, yeah, I had offers. I'm about to open this, but I want to turn this light off. I had offers to Xavier. My top offers after Columbia University were Xavier University in the Big East, which I ended up attending that school. Ohio State University, Virginia University, and I would say North Carolina A&T. Those are probably my top four choices. I had other offers, but I honestly can't even remember the rest. And And so yeah, I took visits. Actually, I took one visit. Now that I think about it, I didn't even use all my visits. I took one visit to Xavier University, and I fell in love with the high major experience. Honestly, I had never experienced nothing like that. I mean, top of the line facilities, ice bath, hot tub, crazy locker room, train practice facility, 24/7 access with the code, arena access in the main arena all year round. 20 managers to work you out and rebound for you whenever you want, even at midnight. Uh, yeah, free masters, free MBA. Um, I already had my Columbia degree, so I already had an Ivy League degree, and now I'm getting a 2-year master's in 1 year because I took courses over both summers. The summer before I was at Xavier, the summer after, and then I took an accelerated track while I was at Xavier. And yeah, man, playing in the Big East was crazy. Super cool experience playing against guys like Marcus Howard, um, Miles Powell, even some of my teammates, Najee Marshall, who plays for the Mavericks, Tyreek Jones, who plays for Olympiacos in the EuroLeague, Paul Scruggs, who's playing overseas, Quentin Gooden was killed. I mean, Zach Hankins plays for Maccabi in the EuroLeague. These are all my teammates. So I went from, Columbia, which is more of a education focused institution. While not to say we had hoopers at Columbia too. Matter of fact, we have a number of pros from Columbia as well. Um, but going to the Big East, it was just like NBA talent every night, NBA talent every day on my practice, and my practices with my own team. Um, and yeah, it was definitely different. I definitely did not kill. I averaged 4 points. I went to Xavier like I'm finna kill and go to the league. That didn't happen, but I did start majority of the year. Out of probably 25 to 30 games, I started probably 22 or 23 of them. I didn't stop. I had my first missed start towards the end of the season, and yeah, we missed the tournament, the NCAA tournament, but playing in the Madison Square Garden in New York in the Big East tournament was crazy. I had some big moments for my team. Block shot, game winning block shot, just getting buckets in the Garden. Like, man, it was a crazy experience, and so I'm so thankful for my experience at Xavier. Um, as I said, I got another degree in my MBA after already having my Ivy League degree from Columbia. Um, Getting a high major experience, getting to play with such talented guys, seeing what that athleticism looked like. Um, I went into that summer actually looking for an agent because I didn't perform well enough. It was not agents running me down. Um, it was not agents running me down. So I was reaching out to agents on my own, and honestly, nobody wanted me. I ended up finding one who just took a chance on me for the heck of it. Um, Ended up getting drafted in the NBA G League draft after going to NBA G League tryouts. So I paid around 250 for. I went to the Pelicans tryout. I went to Cleveland. I went to maybe one more. I don't remember which one, but went to 2 or 3 NBA tryouts, NBA G League tryouts. Did well in all of them. Made the top. There's like they do like a top 10 where the best 10 players from the tryout get to stay, and those are the guys they take seriously and actually watch. I made all of those games. Uh, Probably at least 2 of them. I would say I was killing. I think one of them, maybe in Cleveland, I felt like it wasn't enough. But so I played well enough for them so they can choose to put your name in the G League draft, and they did that. I think it was the Pelicans who chose to put my name in the G League draft, and so I was in the portal, like the NBA G League portal, where the group of names where G League teams choose from. Uh, and yeah, I ended up being selected by the Salt Lake City Stars, which is a team I did not try out for, a team that I had no communication with. But the head coach then had communication with one of my Columbia teammates, Mauro Lowe, who's a German who plays uh, for not Lithuania, Zalgiris in Lithuania in the EuroLeague. And yeah, the coach called him, asked him about me. He put in a good word, which is why you never know who's watching. You never know how the right connection can help you get an opportunity years down the line. So treat people always the way you want to be treated and work hard, and you never know who's watching, and you never know how long or how short it might take for that good fate to come back to you. And so yeah, they drafted me, took a chance on me. I went out to Utah. The G League experience was crazy. We got to actually use the Utah Jazz facility, and so get into sit in Donovan Mitchell's locker room and get the meals before and after practice, the smoothies, the weight room, the training room, the court. Getting to use the NBA facility was a crazy experience. Um, I got cut the last day of the training camp. They told me I played well enough, but honestly, it's just a game of numbers and what the people who make the decisions want, and I wasn't the one they wanted. And so I got cut. Then I ended up finding a trainer through another connection. Again, the importance of connections. And now that trainer to this day is one of my closest friends. Is my brother, literally, Taylor Ware, out of Indianapolis. He's introduced me to some great friends and some great people. And so yeah, like this world is just so connected, and just treating people the right way and working hard will take you such a long way. And so I literally moved in with this guy, didn't know him at all, was just willing to work me out and let me live with him. And now that's literally my brother to this day. And then after a few months of working out with him and his high school team at the time, he was a high school coach. I got a call back to the Stars in Utah. Went back out there. The team was in first place, had won the Winter Cup. Was getting a little bit of opportunity, nothing crazy. I averaged 4 points that year as well. But I was getting KC going there for 2 minutes, pick the ball up full court, and play aggressive when you get an opportunity. And so I had some games where I scored like 10, you know what I'm saying? And doing that in the G League was a dope experience and let me know, like, dang, I could play with, guys talented enough to be in the league. COVID ended up ending that season, which was sucked for me because I was just getting real opportunity. I was just getting my foot in the door in the G League, in the NBA atmosphere, environment. So COVID ended that. I had to go take a real job at Chick-fil-A, also at TD Ameritrade. I was working TD Ameritrade as a financial services representative from 9 to 5, and then working at Chick-fil-A from 6 to close as a kitchen manager to make ends meet, and was still working out at 5 in the morning every day, going to do cardio, and then lifting weights, and then going to the gym and getting a workout in all before 8 o'clock before I had to go to work remotely at the time, because obviously COVID, everything was from home, so it was nice that I could, do what I needed to do and still work from home. And then yeah, I ended up. So the whole next season didn't happen for the G League because it was COVID and there was the NBA bubble, and so the G League wasn't a priority. Um, and so yeah, that whole year I was working and just working out, and I ended up actually getting an opportunity with the Utah Jazz Summer League the next year. I had basically missed the season. Uh, and so I got an opportunity with the Jazz Summer League, but really didn't play. I just went to Salt Lake City. There's two summer leagues. There's really three now, I think. There's a Salt Lake City, and there's one in Golden State before Utah. So I did the one in Salt Lake City. Then I got cut. I didn't go to Vegas. Um, and then yeah, man, I moved back to New York because at that point I had no G League opportunities. I never had gotten an opportunity overseas, so I was like, "What? I have to get a job." And so this is why getting my education was so important, because I saw how easy with an Ivy League degree and with my MBA from Xavier, I could get a very legitimate job opportunity at Morgan Stanley, um, in the equities division for a lot of money. I took my first job. I was living in Brooklyn, close to the Williamsburg Bridge. Took a very nice apartment there, and that lasted about a month. I was still working out every day, hoping I get an opportunity because basketball was still my passion. I just didn't receive any opportunities. And I got a random call from a friend from Columbia who saw how I worked and knew the type of person that I was. Um, and he was my manager at Columbia. He became my head coach in my first year in Europe, Daniel Sokolovsky, who's now working in the G League for the Cavs. And he brought me to Europe, my first opportunity in Slovakia for BKM Lucenic. And by this time, man, I'm just ready to get to it. I've been working real jobs outside of basketball. I've honestly was frustrated my last year at Xavier because I wasn't getting the kill like I felt like I could. Then I was frustrated in the G League because I felt like I wasn't getting the kill like I really could. And so when I got to Slovakia, I took a contract for 500 euros, which is nothing. Is probably about $700 to $800 at the time a month. But just bet on myself, man. I said, I see what this real world working environment is like, and I know I can always come back and get a job, but I know I can only play basketball for so long. And so I took the opportunity in Slovakia, ran with it, killed, got player of the month the first year. The team ended up giving me more money because of how well I was playing. I averaged like 17 points that season, lost in the finals. But the team was super successful, played with some dope Americans. Yeah, did my thing. And so after that, I got a new agent during that season because I was hooping and finally got a legitimate agent who had European connections that could help me build my career in Europe, who's still my agent to this day. And yeah, so he brought me to Germany, where I played for Phoenix Hagen. And again, I was to it. I came in with the same energy, with the same momentum from Slovakia, averaged about the same amount, 17 points a game, and was killing before a very serious health situation. Illness ended my season abruptly right before the playoffs, right before money time, right before teams from the first leagues were really watching. Phoenix Hagen is in the second league in Germany. And yeah, man, I was out for the rest of the season. I was in the hospital. Doctors told me my career was over. Doctors told me my life was in jeopardy. But my faith, man, I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up in a very faithful environment, and parents who, had been through some real stuff and knew the importance of trusting in God and leaning on God. And so that was the first time in my life. Well, not really the first, because losing my father was very difficult and was a time where I had to lean on God. But that was the first time as an adult where life showed me how quick it could be gone. It showed me the importance of doing what you love. It showed me the importance of being with who you love. It showed me the importance of relying on God and knowing that I'm not in control by myself. No matter how hard I work, no matter how much I prepare and plan, there's so many things out of my control. I eat healthy. I take care of myself. I never had health issues, and for a very serious health issue to come up out of nowhere that could be life-threatening, it changed my perspective and my experience on so many things in life. And so God sat me down, and I'm very convinced that if I finished that season the way I was playing, I would have been in a first league, maybe first league Germany, maybe first league somewhere else. But yeah, that I ended up going to a first league in Belgium, but it wasn't the first league level I was looking for, in all honesty. And so yeah, I felt like that was a setback. I ended up in Belgium, and the Belgian first league is a good level. It definitely is. I'm thankful for the experience. But I was coming off a very serious health situation. I didn't get to work out that whole summer prior to my season in Belgium. And so, in all honesty, I just wasn't as good as I was the 2 years before, which to me, the competitor I am says, F that, I got to be great. But the realist I am also is just like, I can understand why. I was in the hospital for 2 months and couldn't work out for a whole summer, a whole off season, right before I came to Belgium. So of course I'm gonna be a little off. Of course I'm gonna be a little behind. And so my season in Belgium was a huge learning experience. It was my first time working with a very European and I would say throwback coach. A lot of time, a lot of practice time in the gym. Uh, no BS. Uh, gonna go crazy if things aren't done to a certain standard, and rightfully so. And so, finished that season averaging about 13, fine numbers, but nothing crazy, nothing that's worthy of a big jump for an American shooting guard. And so, I ended up back in Pro A Germany, the second league in Germany, playing for the Gießen 46ers. That was my first season here, which was last season. Uh, and in all honesty, yeah, it was about the same level as in Belgium. Not bad, but not great. Um, and so, yeah, we lost in the semifinals. If you win the finals in Germany, you move your team up to the first league in Germany. We lost in the semi, so uh, we lost to Jena, who's now in the first league in Germany. Um, and in all honesty, I had no bigger offers. I had offers at about the same level. Um, to come back to Gießen for my second year, which I decided to do, or go to about a similar level in other places. And so because of comfortability, because of knowing what the situation would be and just knowing how things would go here in Gießen, I chose to come back to Gießen for my second year, which is this season. In all honesty, I'm having my best season ever as a pro, statistically. The team isn't doing as well as I would like, but statistically, I'm having my best season ever as a pro. I've been hooping. I'm going to continue to hoop. There's 2 games left for the regular season, and then the playoffs start, and it's time to, prove to these first league teams in Germany or even first league teams in the better countries in Europe, the Spains, the Italys, the France, even Turkey, even Greece, these teams with uh, countries with EuroLeague teams, in all honesty. I want to go play in a league that has a EuroLeague team, and I'm playing against the highest level competition in Europe. It's time for me to make that jump, and so yeah, I got to finish this season strong. I got to finish this season how I've been playing, really even better than I've been playing. I've learned even so much this year. This basketball journey is a never ending learning process, as life is. We never have it totally figured out. We never have arrived. We, at least in my mind, we should always be in a educational approach and how I can learn, how can I get better, how can I become a better version of myself in every way of life, not just basketball. And so, yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm having the best year ever for myself individually, basketball wise. Even outside of basketball, I'm in an amazing place. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. And yeah, we got 2 games before the playoffs start. Hopefully we can make some crazy noise in the playoffs. Hopefully I can individually as well. And we'll see where the future takes us, man. I got big dreams, big goals. Um, and I'm 29 years old. I'm a 7-year pro. It's my 5th year in Europe. I was in America for 2 years. And yeah, I feel better than ever. I feel my game is better than ever. I feel I have an understanding of the best way for me to approach each and every day, each and every game, each and every practice. How to take care of my body, how to stretch, how to eat, how to sleep, how to have a life outside of basketball, how to embrace European culture. Et parle français. Where there's so many things are moving, so many things are amazing. If you've made it this far in the video, you a real one. You definitely gotta subscribe to the channel now. You can't make it this far in the video and not subscribe, because it's just more better content on the way. And now you know about my journey, so you can't stop now. You got to stick with me and see what better things are to come. And so subscribe to the channel, man. Thank you for watching. I wish the best for anybody watching. Like this video, comment on it if you got anything to say, to share, positive or negative. I'm good on all feedback. And yeah, man, I got more content on the way about basketball, about French, about life in Europe, just living abroad, so many things. I appreciate you guys watching. And I'll see you next time. Peace.